Today on the We Invested podcast, we have attorney Miya Bryant of the Miya A. Bryant Law Offices. Miya, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you so much for joining. I'm excited to talk to you and get the chance to pick your brain and learn more about, what it is that you do.
No doubt. Thank you. I appreciate you for having me up here.
For sure. So before we get started, would you mind letting the people know how they can find you on social media and the internet?
Yeah, so on Instagram, I am MIYA_B. Facebook, it's MIYA and then an A Bryant. And then it's Law Offices PLLC. And then my personal is also attached to that one.
For sure. So, where are you from and where did you grow up?
I'm from good old Rocky Mount, North Carolina. 25, of course. Grew up there, lived there all my life. Well, except for now, but so eastern part of North Carolina.
Okay. And so how would you say that growing up in Rocky Mount impacted your outlook on life and success?
Oh man, like you see a little bit of everything, I didn't always live in the suburbs, but we moved to the suburbs and I have friends from all parts of the town. It's a small town, but it's family oriented, it's definitely home. I couldn't say I moved back there because it ain't a lot going on in Rocky Mount, except crime. But I mean, I wouldn't trade it for nothing. Like I loved it. It's country. That's what I like. So,
Facts. Facts. So how would you say that transition was for you, like from moving to Rocky Mount to Winston-Salem, which is like a little bit bigger city?
It wasn't that bad. I guess because Rocky Mount's close to Raleigh, so you don't live there, but you go up there all the time. You're kind of entwined with it. Plus, my brother was at Winston when I went, so that transition was kind of smooth. It wasn't too bad. Winston is big, but it's not super busy. Like it's not a Charlotte. Um, it's not a Raleigh either. It's getting more and more traffic now, but it wasn't too bad. It was new. It was different, but it was a smooth transition.
For sure. I mean, and what made you like want to stay out there and set up shopping and kind of start your life there?
I didn't want to. I
Okay,
didn't.
okay. So
No.
what's the story behind that?
So when I was in law school, even before law school, I was like, I'm moving to Atlanta. I'm going to Georgia. I want to, just something new. Like I had lived in Winston-Salem. I had lived in Durham. So I'm like, let me get out of state. But then probably about halfway through my third year of law school, I was like, I just want a job, man. Like, send me wherever, but I just need some money. So I got a job offer in Winston-Salem. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go back and be there for a year. Came back and it was just like home. Like, I guess I got content, got comfortable again. Like, okay, it's not, I don't want to live anywhere too busy. So I'm like, I don't even want to move to Charlotte. Don't even want to move to Atlanta anymore. But I don't want to do a city as small as Rocky Mount. So Winston is like perfect for me.
For
So
sure, for sure. And I mean, like that makes a lot of sense. I was like doing my homework on you and just seeing all the different places and different public defenders offices that you worked in. So like that kind of connects everything. But before we get into that, what is Miya A. Bryant Law Offices?
So it is a law firm. I'm in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. It is connected to my aunt's law firm, who that is in Greenville, North Carolina. Primarily focused in criminal defense and family law. I take court-appointed cases. So if the public defender's office has a conflict, they'll contract me out. But I do private cases too, so I'm privately retained.
Man, that's incredible. And so, how did you get started in this industry? Like, what gave you that spark to want to be an attorney and practice law?
I wanted to be an attorney since I was little, like a little kid. Like my mom will tell me stories about how I would write up little contracts. Like if I wash the dishes and I don't have to do this later, and like make her and my dad sign it. So I don't know, like I've always had a thing for like speaking up for people who I just feel like can't speak up for themselves, or the underdog or the quiet ones. So I guess that just transferred over to my adult life, and there's never been a question. Like I knew, you got to go to high school, college, and then I got to go to law school. So I always knew I wanted to be a lawyer.
Yeah, man. I mean, and how was that law school grind for you? Like just going through that and surviving that experience.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. Like, so uh, college was easy for me. Like, school has always been easy for me. Law school is a different beast. Like, and then you're in a school with everybody who was always the top of their class, right? So everybody's super smart. You competing with the best of the best. So it's definitely, besides taking and studying for the bar, law school is the hardest thing I ever had to do. So it's the 3 years of hard work, reading, you losing out on sleep, you losing out on social life. That's probably the biggest transition that I've had, is going to law school.
Okay. And did you do law school in North Carolina too?
Yeah, I went to North Carolina Central.
Nice. That's awesome, man. And something that I wanted to highlight and mention is that you're a part of a small group of attorneys nationwide who passed the bar exam in 2 different states in the same year on the first try. So I mean, it's
Yeah.
like you licensed to practice in North Carolina and in Georgia. So
Hmm.
how did you achieve like this accomplishment?
That thing's tough, man. So, like I told you, I wanted to move to Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
So when you sign up for the bar, you do it so far in advance that it's hard to switch it. Like if you get a job offer later. So I was already signed up for the Georgia bar, but I knew, like, okay, if I move to Atlanta, I'm gonna end up moving back to North Carolina. Like, so I knew I had to take North Carolina bar. So I took Georgia's first. That's like 10 weeks, 12 hours a day of just hard work, studying, like, and I don't know if you saw, but like I posted on my social media, like, hey, listen, I'm off everything for the next 10 weeks, like heading the books. So that was tough. So I did that and I passed that one. That's in July. And then in February, I took North Carolina's. And it's crazy because when I took Georgia's, I was like, oh, I'm pretty sure I passed it, right? Like I felt good, a little clueless, but I felt good. But then when I took North Carolina's, I was like, listen, I don't know what I just put on that paper. I don't know what I did. So, but it was tough. Like you gotta be dedicated to it. Like you gotta know that it's really what you want to do and cancel out all that outside noise. So
I mean, and like, what emotions did you feel like when you um found out that you passed both bar exams? Like, what was going through your mind at that moment?
relief, like everything, it just made everything like all worth it. Like all the hard work, all the, oh, I can't make it out tonight. Like, relief, satisfaction, like, okay, I can really do this. Cause there's a lot of smart people out there who just can't pass the bar. So
Facts.
it was definitely a relief. Now with North Carolina, I was like, if I ain't pass this bar, I ain't taking it again. Like it's over for. But Georgia, it was like, okay, this is my first one. If I don't pass this, I know I gotta take it again. So it was definitely satisfaction, relief, just feeling blessed. Like I cried.
Right.
So it was everything.
That's incredible, man. I mean, and what would you say? Have you seen like any of the benefits yet of having like that dual license to practice in these 2 different states?
Yeah, I mean, you can. So Georgia has just the Georgia State Bar, but North Carolina has the UBE's Uniform Bar Exam. So the bar that I took for North Carolina, I think now is in like 30 something states.
Oh wow.
So now they have like a North Carolina specific section, but like I can practice in different states from taking that one bar. So you get, like it's not like the old days where it's like I got it. If I don't pass this test, I can't go, I can never live in another state. So you get more versatility. I don't feel so stuck. Also, since Georgia has like a lot of e-file stuff, I can really practice Georgia living in North Carolina. So you just, you just get more. And then if you go to the federal bar, like, you just more well-rounded. So it's definitely versatility. If you feel like you may move around or something like that, you're not so locked in.
So I mean, you we talked about it a little earlier, but you started your own law firm out in Winston-Salem. I mean, and I just want to ask you and understand, what was that process like? Was it ever intimidating to step out and do something so big, like of that magnitude? Like, how was it for you putting that like entire play together?
Yeah, so I actually did not want my own law firm, and so I worked for somebody else as a lawyer. Um, I was blessed enough to have my aunt who already had her law firm, and she helped me get it off the ground. But it's intimidating because it's one of those things. It's like you got to put money in to make money, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And so to me, I'm like, okay, I gotta have a plan. I gotta have a set plan. I gotta have a backup. So I'm like, listen, if I'm working for somebody, I'm getting paid whether or not I'm bringing somebody in for myself or not. But your own law firm, if you don't bring in clients, you don't get paid, So I was just like, I kept telling myself, okay, when you save up this much, you're gonna go ahead and branch off. And I just kept pushing it back, kept pushing it back. And then all of a sudden it's just like, you're never going to feel like you're 100% ready. Like you just
Right.
gotta take that leap and just go for it. So it was nerve wracking to me. I was like, it just wasn't enough to just say like, okay, this is absolutely gonna work. Like it's a risk, it's a huge risk. I left my old job on good terms, so I knew I could go back. But for me, like pride wise, if I say I'm leaving, I'm not coming back. So I had to make it work, but it's hard. I had a lot of help in getting it done, but a lot of logistics and stuff or practicing now, like I'm on my own. So yeah.
I mean, so like, how do you focus on getting your name out there and like reaching new clients or connecting with new people?
Um, Most of it is word of mouth. I'm in the courthouse like every day, so people see me anyway. And I've gotten a lot of clients from them being like, "Oh, I saw you up there talking to this judge, or I saw you, representing this client. Like you have a card, you get it that way." Then, since I'm on the court appointed list, like I have probably over 100 clients just from that list. So they get a case, they come in the office, they tell their friends, so it's just competence is the main thing. Being able to just be out there and do it, and people see you, they watch you, and then networking. So I have a lot of colleagues who I see every day, and they're like, okay, well, I couldn't take this case. Let me send you to her. Or I don't practice this type of law. Let me send you over here. Um, there are like referral services that I use. So like, just bring in extra if I'm not getting enough from that. Facebook helps, especially when you get the shares and put out tips and everything. So yeah, all of that, but mostly just like word of mouth.
So is there like I believe you say you practice criminal law and traffic law. Is there like a specific lane that's your favorite, or something that I don't want to say get excited to see, but something that
Yeah,
you really enjoy doing, like a specific practice?
probably. I mean, anything criminal, really. Um, Anything criminal. I like family, but criminal is it's more. It's gonna sound bad, but it's more exciting. It moves quicker than family law stuff. It's less paperwork.
Yeah.
And you want to know like specifically what type of?
Nah, you don't gotta get in no details. We don't gotta go
Okay.
too crazy.
No, but maybe like, I don't know. For some reason, violent crimes, I,
Okay.
I kind of like those that like assaults and, things like that. I'm starting to get more and more drug cases. They don't really excite me, but it just shows you that there's a deeper issue. This person isn't just a criminal. Like they have something, like an issue. So yeah.
So, one of the things that I thought, and I was telling you this before we start recording, one of the things that stood out to me and I thought was really cool was that is your Tip Tuesday series that you have on Facebook. So I mean, like, can you explain the idea behind that and how you kind of created that or came up with it?
Yeah, so Tip Tuesdays, I wanted to do something kind of scheduled, right? So weekly or whatever. But I find the main thing wrong, and especially with our people in general, they just don't know their rights. Like, people don't know these things. And so to me, it's like, duh, but at the same time, it's like people just don't know. So Tip Tuesdays is kind of like taking everyday scenarios people find themselves in and giving out, hey, listen, this is a free tip. I don't have to be a lawyer to give you this part of it, advice or whatever. Because people just don't know. So, and I know, like, coming through law school, I think is when I really figured it out. And we talk about it a lot. Like, people don't know what they are allowed to do, what they can't do. And especially this day and age, dealing with the police, like, I don't know. You gotta know. I have so many cases where clients are like, oh, I didn't have to do that, or I didn't have to, like, they had to search my car, or I could have said no. And it's like, yeah, people incriminate themselves every day, and cops are literally dependent on that because they don't know.
Nah, I was reading it, like I was reading through again today, like looking at at your page, and you said something like, the cops are there to, like, you have the right to remain silent. The cops are there to investigate you. They're not really there to help you. So I thought that was a really great piece of information,
Yeah, because a lot of times they word it like, I mean, I don't know if you watch First 48 and stuff, but they'll be like, help us out. Like, if you help me, I'll help you. Or, they'll say, I'm just trying to get to the bottom of it. And they are a lot of times just trying to get to the bottom of it, but they're not trying to do it to get you off. They're trying to do it to see if you're going to be implicated in a crime. So it can be tricky a lot of times. And don't get me wrong, there are nice police officers out there. There are some who, like, genuinely care about the scenario and aren't just trying to get you wrapped up in something. But at the end of the day, you got to protect yourself. And a lot of people don't know that, what they can and can't say.
So you spent time working with cases in Durham County, Wake County, and the DeKalb County Public Defender's Office. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, seeing all these different cases and working with these different people, different clients, what did you learn from that experience?
I think the main thing is that everything is not always what it seems. So there's literally always three sides to every story, like his side, her side, and the truth. And so I think the main thing that I learned was that you really have to pay attention to detail. And even if on the surface, it looks like, okay, this person is flat out guilty, you have to listen to them, because more times than not, there's something like off. And from the naked eye looking in, it's just like, oh, this person is on video doing this. They're definitely guilty. But there's a lot of times where there's just something underneath the surface that you just have to get to, listen to it. And I think that even more, like, triggers, I guess, my desire to be a defense attorney, because it's like, everybody, you really should be innocent until proven guilty. So that would probably be the main thing, that there's always, like, something else to it that you just don't expect.
So, I mean, going through the education that you went through, the training that you went through, like being trained to analyze everything and pay attention to the details and the kind of question everything, does that come into play, like, with your personal life or just regular day-to-day life? Is it hard to turn that other side off?
Yeah. Yeah. Especially, like, in law school, like, I used to get on my family's nerves. Like, everything is legal. You got to legally analyze, like, everything. Like, we call it legalese. Like, that's the language that we speak. Like, I do it all the time. Even now, like, if I take, like, I took a girls trip, and, normally, like, you go sign a waiver to do, like, an excursion or something. You don't read it. You just sign it. Right. I was like, we going to read this whole thing. I was, like, marking out stuff, initial, like, no. So and they were so now they're so used to it. So we go somewhere, they're like, hold on, no, Maya has to read this, like, pass that over there. Or I get calls from the smallest things from my friends, like, hey, so and so and so, and they out there like, well, my lawyer said. My girl, I'm not retained on nothing. But yeah, I overanalyze. I remember, like, everything. So I'm in, like, an argument or something, whether it's, a significant other, a friend, or whatever, it's like, no, because remember on June 8th at 6:17, you was like,
oh, so, no.
No, it's bad. it's bad. I mean, it works out for me,
Exactly. Look,
but
and I'm already knowing like everybody want to call you and get your opinion. Hey, what you think about this? Or people always want to be around you just because they know you like a wealth of knowledge. You know what I'm saying?
yes, definitely. I mean, just anything. Like it's just anything.
Yeah, man. So one thing I wanted to ask you about, um, again too, because I saw it on your business Facebook page, and you don't have to go deep into this if you don't want to, but I wanted to ask, what are your thoughts on the Brittany Griner case?
Okay. I'll separate it like legally and then just personally. So legally, when you think about Russia and what they stand for, how they prosecute their own citizens, it's not. It wasn't like unexpected, right? Like it wasn't unexpected at all. So to me, legally, like if that's my client, I'm like, listen, you know where you were going, you've been there before, like why would you even have that on you? Like, you know what to expect in a sense. But however, on the other side, if I'm just looking like personally or just as a regular US citizen, if you look at the disparities, because I don't know the young woman's name, but there was another woman who was over there for like a family trip. She had 4 grams and Brittany Griner did. And I want to say she got like a few months and a lesser fine. So do I think it's fair? Not at all. But like, if you just look at Russian laws and what they stand for, plus what our political climate is now with this war and like they have every reason in the world to hold her and try to get somebody out. So I'm not surprised by it. Like I feel like there's more that we could be doing to get her out of there. Um, and I just feel like we're kind of failing in that sense. But I don't really blame, and I say this lightly, but I mean, can you really blame Russia? Because that's what they do, you know?
Exactly. No, I think you put it like in a. I think you said it perfectly. Like it wasn't unexpected. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like knowing they're gonna try to throw the book at her because she black, like and other things. But yeah, no,
Right.
I think you said that perfectly. But you know, I wanted to ask, like, is you talked about starting your own law firm, having to invest money to make money, putting money in yourself and believing in yourself and believing in your talents and capabilities. So I want to ask, like, is entrepreneurship something that you've always been interested in, or is it like a skill that kind of developed over time?
No, I never wanted my own law firm. Never. Like, I didn't want to do the logistics. I didn't want to do the admin part of it. But when you work for somebody else and you see how much money you're generating for this other person, and like you're getting like pennies off of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm the company I was with, like I'm settling cases, I'm bringing in a whole bunch of money, like, I'm talking like millions. And I am nowhere close to a millionaire. So it's just like, granted, it's completely different type of law or practice of law, but when you just sit there and you look at it, you're like, okay, well, it's a lot of money out here in this world, right? This dude who I've never met before, who I'm just generating all this capital for, who got houses in all these different states, who got a jet, who has a boat, like, and then I gotta sit here and ask, is it okay if I can go to my doctor's appointment, or is it okay if I take this 4-day vacation? If I could save enough from paying my bills after you pay me the pennies off of what I'm bringing in, that's what sparked me like being, oh, I gotta be on my own. Like I gotta do my own business. There's too much money out here, man.
No, that's a fact, man. And I mean, you just talk about the things that come along with having your own business and starting your own business, as far as the like logistics side, the admin side, um,
Mm-hmm.
balancing the finances, managing the finances. Do you feel better now having tried that, and like, one, knowing that you can do it, but then two, knowing how to do it and knowing what it takes? So it's like, okay, if I ever need to do this again, it'll be 1,000 times better the next time, or
Oh,
easier or simpler.
yeah, absolutely. That's the best decision I could have made. Like wholeheartedly the best decision I could have made.
For sure. So what would you say is the importance of having a team, and like how do you focus on building a team and having the right people around you?
Um, First of all, you gotta have the same interests. You gotta
Mhm.
have the same goal in mind. And this is speaking like we talking about, like your close friends, that's your team, or people that you're trying to build your company with. You gotta be aligned in that sense of, okay, what's the end goal? Like, what are we really trying to do? But you
Mhm.
also have to have people around you who are like understanding and um like even if they don't have these same, if they're not in the same career path, they just understand like, okay, I know that you're working towards this goal. I'm gonna support you in it. You a lot of times going towards this, you lose friends.
Yeah.
Like I'll say it like I lost friends, or just outgrew each other. Like I had some friends asking me, "Well, why can't you go out on Thursday night?" Like, well, this person in law school can. Okay, well, guess what? That person didn't even make it back out the first semester.
Right.
So so I'll say like people that support you and just understand your hustle and understand that the fun is gonna come, but I gotta grind right now. Same goal, like-minded friends, really.
Bro, and when you talk, like I can hear the ambition in your voice. That's why my bad, I was about to call you bro, because I could feel the energy, but but like I could just hear that drive, and like the focus, just being able to turn off social media for 10 weeks just to lock in. Like that's hard to do. It's hard to get off social media for like 10 days, let alone that amount of time. So I mean, like where would you say like this ambition, this drive came from? Like where did it come from? Was it instilled in you? Is it something that you just like, I see his money out here, so I gotta do this to get there? Like what was it for you?
I feel like my parents have always instilled that in me. Like we were never allowed to quit anything. So if you started, you're gonna finish it. So I feel like that's been instilled in me from the beginning. But I've just always been taught, if there's something that you want, you gotta work for it. And nothing worth having is gonna come easy. So, but that, and then having people around me who are doing the same thing. So a lot of my classmates and I, we were close, like, so we're tight. So I'm struggling, they're struggling too. Or, you have days where you get lazy or you get tired and you need that extra push. So if I'm like studying for the bar, for example, my homeboy that I went to Winston with too, we studied together. And if I'm not in that study room by a certain time, I'm getting a text like, yo, homie, you good? Where you at? All right. You overslept a little bit today, but it's time to get in here. So you gotta have the extra push. It's not always gonna be in you. Like it is. I don't know anybody who can say like, oh, I'm the only person that pushed myself and made it through that. So just I guess just knowing exactly what I wanted to do and what I needed to do to get there, but then having people around me who were like driving for the same thing.
What would you say are some of the roadblocks or lessons that you've learned, like just throughout your career and starting your law firm up?
Ooh, uh, okay, so I'm a Black female. We have that angry Black female, perception. And one of the roadblocks I would say, but that can also be a good thing though, is just I can't voice my opinion the same way that a white male can. I can't do it. I can't be angry, or I can't have just be enthusiastic about a certain idea. Like I have to be very calm. And I say that's a roadblock because I think a lot of times if you don't have enthusiasm behind an idea or behind I don't know, just like a way to go about something, then it just kind of gets overlooked.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I speak up about a lot of things that other people don't. So it could be a good thing. Other roadblocks. Sometimes it's hard to say because I think I was lucky in my career, especially through law school. Like at Central, it didn't feel competitive. People helped each other, and even now, like starting my own firm when I'm in the courthouse, like attorneys are like, "Hey, you good? You need anything?" Or you can ask questions. Um, so I think just being a Black female, you already got two negatives against you. So I gotta watch sometimes how my hair is, or like, okay, clothes iron today. Like you just have to be top tier all the time sometimes we don't have the energy to be that, you know. So that can get tough.
How do you define success as an attorney and as an entrepreneur?
Success to me is, I think when you reach the goal that you've been striving for, like I don't think you can put a number on it, like a currency amount on it. I think it's when you turn around and you look back at like, okay, what were you wishing for 10 years ago? And you see you attain that. Or even if you see like, okay, well, that wasn't for me, but you got it, you know, you got it done, or you're in the process of doing it. I think success has levels to it, you know, and as an entrepreneur, I think success is figuring out, okay, maybe plan A and plan B didn't work, but now I got plan C, and that's excelling. Um, so I think it is very subjective. It's different for everybody. For me, I felt like I was successful after I passed the bar. So when you hit major milestones, just count them off. I think a lot of times we, you know, like it's like, oh, okay, well, I made it to step one, but then you forget that you made it to where you were trying to be a year ago. So little wins are everything. They're still success to me.
What would you say is the most important reason for your success?
Mm, God, God, man, I couldn't do it without God. That's just plain and simple.
I mean, you know, how would you like for people to remember you and your company?
I want people to remember me as a zealous advocate, um, somebody that they could talk to. Like, you know, I think a lot of attorneys can be judgmental sometimes. So somebody that, you know, just wasn't judgmental, did their best on every case, no matter what the evidence was. Um, I think just an overall great advocate for my clients.
Are there any people are there any people in the field that you kind of looked up to or use as motivation or kind of pattern yourself behind?
I had a professor in law school, Dion Gonder Stanley, and she was actually who took me through the clinic. Um, she she was just like top tier, very particular on everything. So definitely her. Like I still have now some outlines and stuff that we did in law school, or like samples that she did. I can call her, ask her questions. One of my mentors, he's the chief public defender in Wake County. Him, like he was just great in everything, and that's the first public defender internship that I had, and so even now I call him my mentor. And then I'll say my aunt is, she's sharp, like she is super sharp, she's so competent, she knows her stuff. um and so I think with her, like I think I try to mimic the way that she keeps her clients on track. So you take, like, you know, just bits and pieces from different people, but I think those would probably be the main three.
What does the future of Miya A. Bryant law offices look like to you?
Oh, we getting big, man. If I had to say the future, I would love to, you know, have like different offices in different well, not states, but in different cities. Shoot, maybe different states, since I'm in Georgia too. Um, you know, I want to continue to grow in the types of cases that I take. And as right now, I do low level felonies and misdemeanors. So take capital cases, you know, so murder cases, and just keep growing, get busy. I want to get to the point where I can be picky on, you know, clients that I take and don't take. Right now, I'm just pretty much doing any and everything for the experience, but definitely growth.
That's incredible, man. Miya, thank you so much for your time today. But you know, before I let you go, at the end of most podcasts, we like to play a rapid fire question game where I ask 3 questions. So if you're willing to play, I'll go ahead and ask.
Uh-oh. Okay. Let's do it.
All right, question number 1. Where's your favorite place to travel?
Ooh, Hawaii.
Hawaii, that's hard. Why Hawaii?
They had the prettiest water. I went already. I want to go again. I want to see the whales.
Thanks. That's dope. That's dope. Okay, so question number 2. What song represents your life the most?
Oh. It's gonna be something by Trina. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm dead.
Listen, between her and Cardi, no, I ain't got a song name,
I'm
but
dead.
my female rappers like.
Facts.
Ooh.
That's hard. That's hard though. All right, and look, final question. What's an amazing thing that you did that no one was around to see?
Shoot, take the bar.
Facts. Big facts. 2 bars.
2 bars. 2 bars.
Exactly. But hey, man, Miya, thank you, attorney Miya Bryant. Thank you so much for your time today, man. I really enjoyed getting a chance to speak with you and learn more about you, and to get the chance to pick your brain. Like your ambition and drive and energy is like infectious, you know. So thank you for spending time with us.
No doubt. Thank you for having me. This was fun.
For sure.